What are gunas and what are the three gunas available in nature? Paramatma and the scriptures drastically depart from conventional thought as to how the universe was created. Remember, the perceived universe is only a reflection of the qualities of the inner self. It is to be read as a reflection in order to enable the Atma to evolve, to shed the dependence on the physical self. So, since the universe is only an instrument of the forces of consciousness, including the mind, the universe is said to be formed due to the imbalances of the forces in Jivatma and its main instrument, the mind. To apply a bit of modern physics, forces come into existence only due to imbalances. If there was a perfect balance, there would be no forces that would be created or come into play. Guna, by guna we mean that this is a thread or a strand or cord or twine. In more abstract uses, it may mean subdivision, species, kind or quality, or operational principle or tendency. In Samkhya philosophy, there are three major gunas that serve as the fundamental operating principles or tendencies of Prakriti or universal nature, which are called Sattva guna, Rajas guna and Tamas guna. These three primary gunas are generally accepted to be associated with creation, preservation and destruction. The entire creation and its process of evolution is carried out by these three major gunas. The three guna appear prominently in the discourse of Krishna to Arjuna upon the battlefield of the Kurukshetra, that is the backdrop of the Bhagavad Gita. All three gunas are held to delude the world. Krishna says that the world is deluded by the three gunas, but it does not know me, who is beyond these gunas and is imperishable. If you watch till the end, you would come to know as to how the Atman is not affected by these gunas. Also, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. The power behind perception is the Atma. Atma, when completely balanced, is the moksham state. But when one or more of these three gunas, Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic, begins to dominate, then the Atma becomes attached to the physical world through the sense organs and more importantly through the mind. What causes the perception to be born in the state of imbalance? What is this imbalance that causes the Atma to perceive the universe? In Srimad Bhagavatam, the Paramatma explains the human perception was caused by an imbalance between the three gunas. When the three gunas are balanced, there will be no perception of the universe. The three gunas of the mind are Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Brahman, because of Maya and the power of Maya, appeared to have two forms, the seer and the seen, the drishta and the drishtam. The seer is named as Purusha and the seen is named as Prakriti. The Prakriti is made up of the cause and effect. The Purusha is the pure knowledge or Jnana. Prakriti began to function and out of it were manifested the three gunas, Tamas, Rajas and Sattva. Out of these three gunas was born the subtle power which causes Kriya or action. Krishna explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam that I will explain you by going back to the beginnings of creation to make it simple for you. When Ishvara created Maya, the world was manifested. The five elements called Mahabhutas, the Indriyas and the Tanmantras, and later the many lokas were manifested. Ishwar pervades the entire universe, but because of Maya, the avidya or the ignorance envelops the mind of a man. This university of the Ishvara is hidden and concealed. The man gets involved in illusion. As I am the doer, I am enjoying the fruits of the action and such like. This again leads to further details about actions. You shall do this and this act is forbidden, etc. It is then said that certain acts should be performed for enhancing sattvic nature in man. When the sattvic nature gains ascendancy, the mind becomes clearer. Once the mind is clear, it is up to the man to rid himself of the bondage called action. So it is safe to conclude that sattva is the state of a mind in which the man rids himself of the delusion position of the I as being responsible for his ability to perceive all his actions. It is an advanced state of the mind in which the man rids himself of all his delusions. On Rajasic Guna, the following explanation has been provided. The Karmendriyas, the organs of action, and the Jnanendriyas, the organs of perception, are born of Rajasic Tattva. Rajas stands for all active emotions like anger, passion, not easily controlled. So the Rajasic Guna is the perpetrator of action and emotion in the mind. On the Tamasic Guna, out of the Tamasic Aham Tattva are born the Mahabhutas, the elements, and the Tanmantras. At the physical level, creation is the same as birth, preservation is same as life, and destruction is the same as death. If the three gunas were in the state of balance, there would be no separation between creation, preservation, and destruction. In other words, there would be no perception of the physical universe. In simpler terms, the mind is the instrument of perception. The mind is created by the imbalance of the three gunas. The three gunas are in a constant state of struggle to attain supremacy. This imbalance is reflected in the constantly swirling human mind. The swirling is the karma that we experience for the time of our human life. Unable to bear the imbalance, the mind consciously seeks middle ground in which it does not feel the impact of the pulls and pushes of the opposites. The mind cannot lose the pull of the temptations, strays from the middle ground, and faces the consequent backlashes. In turning to the various alternatives for peace, tranquility, and freedom, which is the true nature of the Atma, it comes across the teachings of the Paramatma, which is self-realization through devotion. The mind learns that it does not have to turn anywhere else except to itself and find the answer and quell the turmoil within. One by one, it sheds the illusion and attachments that it was subject to. It then attains unification with the Atma and is freed forever from the repeated cycle of births and deaths. Everything that we perceive in this world is constantly changing. Imbalances characterize the physical world. If there were no imbalances, there would be no perception. In a completely steady state with no changes, the mind would not get ability to perceive. The instruments of perception deployed in the mind are the five senses. The five senses are activated only by changes and imbalances. It should be emphasized that the perception of the separation of the gunas arise only in the mind. As such, the Puranas do not attach any significance to physical creation, sustenance, or destruction. This is why our rishis focused on stilling the mind to attain the state of moksha. So moksha means to attain a state of mind without any imbalances of the three gunas. The perceived universe, being in a state of imbalance, is constantly in a state of motion to attempt resolve the imbalance. This change in physical objects resulting from these imbalances, either through movement or through physical, chemical, biological transformation, is called by modern science as energy and by Puranas as karma. Modern science is focused on channelizing the imbalances so the energy can be used in a manner that is useful to man. The Puranas are focused only on removing these imbalances by developing self-control of the mind. The only power that has been left in our control is that of our own thought. If the attitude is taken that everything else is secondary, then this perceived world will no longer trouble us. On the contrary, life will become very pleasant experience. More importantly, life will align itself and allow you to make even more progress on the intellectual front. The God consciousness assertion in the Puranas is that when the mind reaches this balanced state of existence, there will be no longer any physical constraints of space, time, and conflict. Without restrictions and conflicts, the mind will reach a state of pure and unbounded enlightenment, very much akin to merging with God consciousness. It is the mind of a man which causes him to either fall into the morass called samsara or to find freedom from it. It is the mind which should be subdued. When the mind is tainted with the three gunas, Satmam, Rajas, and Tamas, its path is set in the world of objects. It will have to keep on performing actions, good or bad, and the cycle of births and deaths will be endless. It will acquire desires, and according to the desires, its progress will be towards the higher or towards the lower, as the case may be. Pleasure and pain pain will affect the life of man and there will be no end to it. So long as the mind of a man is attached to things of the world, it can never glow on its own accord. The three qualities, the sattva, rajas and tamas, are parts of nature and they have nothing to do with the Atman. One who has reached the Atman, who has reached the Brahman state, will never be affected by the opposites. In the beginning, there was nothing else. Brahman, the soul of all the souls, the lord of nature, the cause and the effect, blended into one. He was the seer, and in the beginning, there was nothing to be seen. The Brahman was self-luminous. Prakriti was with him. The power to manifest himself was in him. In the beginning, the three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas, were perfectly balanced. They were in equilibrium. Another powerful aspect of the Brahman is time. Now, because of the passage of time, the balance of the gunas are upset, disturbed. There was a throb of unrest, that is disturbance, and this disturbance had in it the germs of creation. The power because of which the Purusha creates the universe is called Prakriti. The active aspect of the Brahman, which is the consciousness, awareness. The power because of which the Purusha creates the universe is called Prakriti or nature. The active aspect of the Brahman, which is all consciousness, awareness. The consciousness manifested itself in the form of the universe, ruled by the three gunas, and they are sway. The original soul, the universal spirit, altered its appearance, meaning it became the cause as well as the effect, the seer as well as the seen, the doer as well as the deed. How did you like the video on gunas? Please do let me know in the comment section below. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel so that I can continue making interesting videos for you. I'll see you in the next video.